Ken Masters voice actor Ruben Langdon says he was recast over politics. And no one was surprised by this. Greetings once again, my friends, and welcome back to the GNRO Minicast. I am your host, Adam Mickelson, aka Drak. I hope everybody's having an awesome day or night when you're listening to this. And welcome if you're brand spanking new. We definitely appreciate that. And today we're going to be taking on a story brought to us by nichegamer.com. And this is actually something that I already predicted last year, but now we've since received official confirmation for it. So let's get into it. It's been some time since we learned longtime Ken Masters voice actor Ruben Langdon was recast. At the time, neither Capcom nor Langdon commented on the decision until now. Also, in case people don't know, Ruben Langdon has also voiced Dante in the Devil May Cry series. So this is a big blow. To recap, 3 years ago, articles from Newsweek and other commentary on Langdon's personal beliefs were taken out of context. Yes, he actually was fairly consistently attacked over the last few years, especially when Devil May Cry 5 came out, and also when rumors of Street Fighter 6 were happening. So this is actually not that surprising, but yeah, wait, a news organization took comments out of context? Or personal beliefs out of context? Perish the thought. Which Langdon has now confirmed led to him being dropped as the voice of Ken Masters. Ruben previously appeared on a podcast with YouTubers. This is already the red flag, I can guarantee you. YouTubers Hero Hey and Yellow Flash, where they discussed a number of hot issues, including #MeToo, Black Lives Matter, and allegations towards another voice actor, Vic Mignogna. And I can guarantee you, anything that Yellow Flash or Hero Hey do, immediately the Kick Vic crowd immediately just feels that boot in their butt and they have to go and immediately get offended. Langdon was later asked for an interview by Newsweek to clarify his statements, to which he agreed, but when he said he couldn't comment on the Mignogna situation, an article later came out that lambasted Langdon as a right-wing extremist, which is very funny considering that I actually follow his Twitter, and I've seen a lot of his statements, and no, I would not characterize him as a right-wing extremist. I would characterize him as very pro-science, but I would not characterize him as right-wing. I would say neutral to left, like most actors kind of are, especially ones that don't want to get involved in any kind of drama. Previously, Langdon was the voice of Ken Masters in all his iterations from Street Fighter 4 in 2008, all the way up to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. This Newsweek article came out yesterday and was basically taking things that I had said in the interview out of context or with no context, and just saying Ruben said this and this about Black Lives Matter and Me Too, that I'm a right-wing extremist, that I'm a UFO alien believer, crazy nutcase. Okay, right-wing extremist, not surprising. UFO alien believer, that's surprising. That's surprising that was considered to be something that was horrible nutjob material, according to Newsweek, of all places. But all right, so you're telling me that it wasn't just bad enough that he was a right-wing nut job, according to you? No, the fact that he is willing to believe in UFO conspiracies, that was the straw that broke the camel's back? That's the dumbest thing in the world. He then noted that 2 months earlier, Newsweek did a very positive article and interview with him and his coverage of the possibility of extraterrestrial life, which is confusing when compared to their other posts taking comments out of context. I can guarantee you what happened with the extremist point of view is one of those Kick Vic people who was butthurt worked on Newsweek staff. And therefore, they saw Hero Hey and Yellow Flash and immediately went clickety-clack, 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 right-wing extremist, we must cancel him. Because that's how that goes, right? After this, people went on to contact Capcom, because of course they did, regarding the negative and out-of-context reporting that was done on Langdon, which allegedly prompted the developer to recast Ken Masters. This is cancel culture all over again. To all the people that want to tell me that cancel culture doesn't exist, I will point them to this article, once again, to other articles as well. Yes, it happens. It's bullshit, and it happens. Now, thankfully, in recent year, it's been getting a lot better, but not enough. And it still needs to be thoroughly shot down as hard as possible, because this is not just an attack to basically make sure that they can't say anything. This is to destroy a person's life while also being able to say, well, we didn't do anything to hurt him. Yes, you did. You absolutely did, because you made it so that he couldn't earn money. And I've said it before, and I will continue to say it. You might as well hand him the noose at that point, or hand the gun loaded with one bullet to put in his mouth. Because when you make it so that he cannot provide for himself or for his family, you want him to die. Some people wrote Capcom, particularly Street Fighter series producer Yoshinori Ono. Ono-san, really? Bastard. He saw it, and I guess he lost his shit. He shouldn't have. Grow the fuck up, Ono-san. He didn't understand the nuances and didn't bother to reach out to me to ask what the hell's going on. He got super scared and actually called. I remember this very clearly because this was a few days before E3 started. My partner calls me and he goes, Ruben, what the fuck did you do? And I'm like, what do you mean? I didn't do anything. Because he didn't. You don't realize how much damage you've done. You just lost us the Street Fighter gig. Why? Because of that Newsweek article, the company Just Cause Productions, that I was no longer a part of, actually lost a multi-million-dollar gig because Ono, in a sense, thought I was still part of the company, which I wasn't, didn't do any research, any homework, didn't look into it, or even bother to have a conversation. That's what this bullshit does. Because when you get companies acting like this, I am not condoning what Ono did. Ono should have definitely done his fucking homework before he made any kind of action whatsoever, but because of some butthurt journalist out at Newsweek, an entire studio had to suffer. Congratulations. I hope you got fired, and I hope you aren't working right now until you learn what the fuck you actually did. Despite the decision to recast Langdon and drop their mocap company already being made, Langdon and others reportedly tried to arrange a meeting with Ono-san to clarify and hopefully remedy the situation. I tried to arrange a meeting so I could sit down with Ono-san and explain what happened, that this was taken all out of context. This was not the case. It was a hit piece from this Newsweek guy, absolutely. But Ono-san wouldn't have it. He wouldn't even take a meeting. It was crazy. Langdon went on to confirm that despite being recast in Street Fighter, he's still playing Dante in Capcom's other hit franchise, Devil May Cry. I can guarantee you that will not be the case once we get around to Devil May Cry 6, if that even happens. Because the same butthurt mob is going to come out and try and cancel him again, like they did with Devil May Cry 5, like they did with his fellow castmate Johnny Young Bosch, which thankfully blew up in their faces. This is going to happen again. And hopefully, at that point, we have at least taken care of the cancel culture mob enough that it will not cost him the job. I am not optimistic, though, in that case. A few months after that, Devil May Cry director Hideaki Itsuno-san calls up and says, hey Ruben, can you come back to Japan and do a mocap? We're going to do a special edition of Devil May Cry 5. So he did actually get additional work. That's good. So I went back and I asked Itsuno-san and my partner too, what's the deal? How come you guys didn't flip out over Ruben's Newsweek article? And they were like, yeah, we just looked into it and it's fine. Oh my gosh. It's like homework works. If Ono had actually done that, he actually got backlash for Street Fighter 6, not just for Ken, but also for a number of other things. I don't even think he was involved with them, but he still got backlash for it. And just think, if he had actually done his homework, he could have avoided all of that. So the Devil May Cry team looked into it and saw what a bunch of BS it was. Thank you, Devil May Cry team! You know what? Capcom, they deserve a raise. Including Itsuno-san, they did the research and totally validated that I didn't say anything to offend anybody, or I wasn't whatever Newsweek tried to make me out as. All the lies, so it was fine. Okay, well that's good. He added, I haven't talked to Itsuna-san lately. As far as I know, our relationship's fine. I haven't been canceled. I haven't been spanked. I'm sure I would be told otherwise. We have reached out to Capcom for a comment on the story and will update if provided clarification. Lastly, Langdon confirmed he wasn't hired for the Devil May Cry Peak of Combat smartphone game due to budgetary limits, not his beliefs or comments on controversial issues. Yeah, because that was a mobile game, so I'm guaranteeing you its budget was really sparse at best. It wouldn't surprise me. I haven't played the game, but it wouldn't surprise me if they just used voice clips from previous Devil May Cry games to be able to do it, just to save money. So, and then it goes on to say Street Fighter 6 has since launched, and Devil May Cry 5 originally launched in March of 2019. So, my thoughts on this are very simple. I predicted this last year when it was officially announced that Ruben Langdon would not be reprising his role as Ken Masters. And I know a lot of people were thinking it was because of the drastic design changes that Ken was going through. That's why they didn't do it. I guarantee to people it was this. And turns out I was right. Somebody got butthurt over statements that Ruben had made. And I actually, in response to this, I actually did look up the live stream, or I tried to look up the live stream. And from what I can tell of the context in the questions that were being asked to him, he didn't say anything that would have gotten him in trouble. Honestly, his Vic Mignogna quotes are tame at best. He basically did what a lot of actors did, which is, I've never met the guy in person, or I've met the guy in person like once or twice, and this seems really out of character. And that's pretty much where they left it at. So a lot of PR speak. So I wish I could say I was 100% surprised that this is the reasoning that led to Ruben Langdon being recast. I'm not. But ultimately, it does sound good that he will still retain his role as Dante. However, I don't even know what they're doing with Devil May Cry right now, so it could easily be that he doesn't get to reprise his role as Dante because they decide to go in a completely different direction in that regard. Thankfully, though, Ruben Langdon is still doing well without them, so that's a big mother F you and a big fat middle finger to all the people that wanted to cancel him. And that's my opinion on it. I am not surprised by this in the slightest. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let's have that conversation. You can also, if you like the video, leave a like. If you want to continue to see more content, you can check out the other videos I put up, as well as subscribe to the channel. It definitely helps me out with the algorithm. And of course, I will see you guys next time for the next GNRO Minicast. Until then, take care, my friends.